the story of our world every day. Listen and your heart may open up. If ever you feel frightened of our world that's washed away, a mother is a mother, come to us. Women, 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 women. Women sew the fabric of our world every day. History of violence made it through. The stories that we share will live on until we say these truths are our gifts passed on to you.
Welcome to tonight's hashtag 101 Night Show. I'm Lisa Liebau, co-founder and president of the Scheherazade Project, a women's activism through storytelling arts movement that uses the power of art, creativity, solidarity, and courage in promoting social justice, nourishing our spirits, and enabling a more beloved community. We're more than halfway through our Election Day countdown with creativity. We've been showcasing our strong voices to encourage all Americans to use their voices in the most important way, vote. Join us live every night, 8 p.m. Eastern, or watch previous episodes by visiting YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. Tonight's featured artist is Marcela Kogan, a freelance writer of magazine articles, industry newsletters, essays, and books. She's written about ways to improve your marriage, to beat the blues, to make small talk, and to deal with difficult bosses. She's also written about the business of corporate relocation, regulations governing coal transportation, and affordable housing. She loves interviewing people, artists, politicians, scientists, and telling their stories. But she says, now it's time to tell my own story. I enrolled in a master's program for creative nonfiction at Johns Hopkins and started working on my memoir, Silence in the Crib. I want to thank the Scheherazade Project for giving me a chance to go public with a story I've kept silent for most of my life. We welcome to the hashtag 101 Night screen, Marcela Kogan.
We tell stories about what happened to us so that our lives will feel real, especially when they're stories that people who hurt us say never happened. Keep silent and it kills your spirit slowly, the shame, the self-hatred. Then you decide, do I die with a secret or reveal it and set myself free? It took me over 5 decades to come to grips with my past, to untangle the mess of memories, layers of dissociation. I'm going to read an excerpt of my memoir, Silence in the Crib. Perched side by side on a bench in Forest Hills Park in Queens, overlooking the cemetery, a blanket of snow covering the dead, I asked Puppy point blank, how is your sexual relationship with Mommy going? I wonder for a split second if this is a weird question for a 28-year-old daughter to ask, but we're honest with each other that way. Puppy brings a pipe to his mouth and lights it in circular motions. I stay still and wait for an answer. Puppy only says things once. He takes a deep puff, lifts his eyes to the sky and exhales. The smoke settles between us. 2 blocks from Woodhaven Boulevard, worlds away, I hear familiar sounds of horns beeping, sirens going off, buses humming and sighing as drivers fight through Friday afternoon rush hour traffic. I arrived at my parents' 4th-floor apartment an hour ago from Washington, D.C. I brought with me an essay I wrote about Buenos Aires, the city I lived in until I was 12 years old, when Puppy decided to open up a dental practice in America in hopes of making more money. But his dreams were shattered as he waited for hours in his dental office for patients who rarely came. Those days he looked broken, and I longed to fix him. I rang the doorbell, and Puppy greeted me with outstretched arms. I walked into his embrace and then called out for Mummy. "Aquí estoy," she said. In the tiny kitchen overlooking rooftops and train tracks, amid the steam from soup bubbling over and the sizzling sound of vegetable sautéing, Mummy reached out for me. We hugged for a long time. I planted a kiss in her soft, warm cheek. Puppy was standing by the kitchen. He had on his fedora hat and tweed jacket, a signal that he was ready to go on one of our rides. I couldn't wait. At the park, the wind blows away the smoke and Puppy's face reappears. He looks amused, mysterious, as if he knows something I don't, and he won't say what. "I can't complain," he explains, exaggerating a British accent with a theatrical air to mask his Spanish accent. He takes rhythmic puffs while gazing at the vast expanse of dead bodies before him as if looking at a world wonder. "I know you don't get along with her," my voice a whisper. I run my fingers through my long brown hair, tilt my head back, hold in my stomach, and move closer to him. "I just wanted to make sure you were sexually satisfied." My voice a whisper. He looks me down. I sit poised. He lowers his eyes, fidgets with the rim of his hat, shakes lint off his cardigan sweater. Filled with a sudden burst of energy, my heart races. I begin to babble on about my writing assignments, the temp agency I'm working for, the theater class I'm taking, drowning in my chatter like someone on a bad date. "Let's go," he interrupts. He puts on his hat, gets up and disappears behind me. My heart drops. "Puppy, wait!" I turn my head, exasperated. "What about us?" He picks up his pace, motioning me to follow him. I don't obey. Instead, I stare at the weeds shooting through the snow. Thoughts swirl through my brain and my mind fills up with images like collages. My mother storing dishes in the dishwasher, my brother buying my father a better video recorder, the theme party my housemates are planning, each thought swirling up and up through a spiraling ladder into a vast space somewhere. Then I'm gone. A voice calls out to me, shaking me out of my trance. "Vamos, let's go." I oblige and march toward Puppy's car. The parking lot is empty except for a police car parked near us. I get in the car, but Puppy doesn't say anything and I wonder if he's mad at me. We sit for a while. The cops in the police car look over toward our car, then say something to each other. Puppy stares straight ahead. "Act like everything is normal," he said. I notice he is gripping onto the wheel, his thumbs tapping on it. The police car backs up and leaves. We're all alone in this still, desolate park. "Descansa." He motions me to put my head on his lap and rest. I follow his order. My eyelids feel heavy and I feel nothing. Afterwards, on the ride home, we're quiet for I don't know how long. It's getting dark. I look out the window and yearn to be the woman walking out of the supermarket, the girl strolling into 7-Eleven, the older man crossing the street, the taxi driver yelling out the window, the businessman waiting for the bus, the construction worker eating a sandwich, everyone and anyone other than me. My eyes burn and breathing is shallow. My father is talking to me, but I can't make out the words he's saying. A metallic taste rises in my mouth. My eyelids feel heavy again and I fight falling asleep. "No le digas a Mami que somos así o se va a poner celosa." Don't tell Mami we're like this or she'll get jealous. I shake my head. I would never tell, but I wonder, what are we doing wrong? Dear readers, did I give away the punchline in the first paragraph? Are you skimming through this essay to find the part where I write about the shocking, repulsive details of my father's sexual abuse? If I don't tell you exactly what my father did to me, would you be disappointed? Would you read on? What matters most to you, the sex or the silence? The sex already happened, but the silence continues. Words choke me when I try to speak, but they flow me when I put pen to paper. Every word I write is a word away from my father. Words turn to sentences. Sentences turn to paragraphs. Paragraphs to chapters and chapters into books. This book. Read me. And then tell me, can you relate? I ask you again, what matters most to you? The sex or the silence?
Thanks for joining the sisters tonight. If you've joined us other nights, I'm sure you too are impressed by the diversity of storytellers' approaches. Some have created new work for their night's performance, others have shared previous work, but all have signed on to support us by sharing their voices. By the time we reach November 2nd, the eve of the 2020 election day, all eligible voters will be ready to raise their voices too, in the most important way of all. Go vote, everyone.
Come to us, women, 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 women. Women sew the fabric of our world every day. History of violence made it through. The stories that we share will live on, and so we say these truths are our gifts passed on to you. Women.